In today's lesson, you will learn the first type of non-harmonic tones, which we actually have already discussed these the last time in the previous videos, and they are those tones that are not part of the chord but are used to create some variety in the melody and the composition of a melody, without necessarily being limited to the notes of a single chord or the notes of the chords from a succession of chords, which means the notes of the chords themselves. The type of non-harmonic tones that we will be studying today, the kind of non-harmonic tones, are the passing tones. But before discussing these, I want to set a premise, we could say, that will allow you to follow the lesson much better and help you understand it the best way, we could say. We have to immediately define and distinguish a few things. We will be mentioning chord tones in this lesson, and by this we will mean those notes that are part of the chord. For example, if I'm playing the C major chord, C, E, and G, the notes C, E, and G, which are the tones part of this chord, will be called chord tones. And these tones will be kept apart from the non-chord tones, which are the non-harmonic tones, not part of the chord, which are outside the chord itself. So we will be separating into different categories between chord tones and passing tones, which are the first kind of non-harmonic tones. Passing tones are defined as the notes or tones that tie the chord tones of one or more chords between degrees according to the principles of the scale, which means using the degrees of the scale. So the notes are the tones that tie the tones of the chords of one or more chords. Okay, this is the definition, but we have to go deeper than that. So let's see what a passing tone is actually in practice. The C is a chord tone, the D is a passing tone, and the E is the other chord tone. So this way I have tied two chord tones to different chord tones. So the passing tone in this case, let's take a very simple example. The first chord tone of the C chord, which is the C, and the first chord tone of the F chord, which is of course the F. Let's imagine we want to tie these two notes together. How can we do this? Let's remind ourselves of the definition of passing tones. The tones or notes the tie between the degrees of the scale, using those same degrees, of course, the chord tones of one or more chords. So we can do it this way, going from C, passing through D, which is a passing tone, going to E, which is another chord tone of the C chord, and then go to the F major scale. So in this case, in the G major tonality, if I want to tie the E to the G using a passing tone, I cannot use the natural F anymore, because it's not part of the G major scale, but I will have to use the F sharp, because this is the note that is actually part of the G major scale.